The idea of a living computer used to be science fiction.
And now we are making it a reality in the lab, DanEVN. It's incredible work.
Hello and welcome to DanEVN Daily Prompt Series. I'm Daniel Sogoyan, your guide into the world of agentic AI and prompt engineering. Today we confront the energy crisis of AI and the radical technology designed to fix it. We are talking about the Wetware, computers built from actual brain cells. And our guest is Dr. Ewelina Kurtys, strategic advisor at FinalSpark. So Ewelina is leading the change in organoid intelligence. So what they are actually doing, they are building the Neuro Platform, the world's first remote biocomputing platform. Ewelina, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So let me give you a couple of questions which I prepared. Let's talk a bit about the sci-fi. When we say biocomputing, people imagine a brain in a jar. So what exactly is brain organoid and how does it physically sit in your hardware?
So we definitely don't have brains in a jar. We just use the same building blocks as we have in our brains, which are living neurons. But the structures which we are building are totally different.
Okay.
I think it's a bit overhype that people call it little brains. I think it's wrong because brain is much more complex. And also our objective in biocomputing is not really to build a brain. It's just to use living neurons for processing information. So actually we want to build structures which are much bigger than living brains because we are not restricted by, let's say, the size of the school. In the lab, we can build something much bigger. So our objective is to build computers which we will have a server built from living neurons. We actually hope it can be very big in the future. For now, it's really small, but for the testing, of course. But in the future, we want to make huge structures of living neurons. And as you mentioned, this we do to solve the problem that AI is using rapidly growing amount of energy. So we want to provide artificial intelligence, which will be 1 million times more energy efficient than digital.
Great. Thanks, Ewelina. This makes a lot of sense. So as we understand, the big selling point here indeed is the energy consumption. So as you mentioned, just to second you, the big large language models cost millions of dollars. So if I may ask, is there an estimation how less is exactly the consumption will be in your technology? Like very hard numbers would be totally okay.
So yes, as I mentioned, the consumption of energy will be 1 million times less.
1 million times less.
We have made some calculations that even considering the cost of the lab and the maintenance of living computers, we will still be much cheaper than digital.
Wow, very cool. So, all right, next one, I would like to understand the interface behind the whole technology. So in a traditional silicon chips, we have the zeros and ones. So how does it work in a FinalSpark technology?
So the interface is that we put neurons on the electrodes so that we can send them electrical signals and we can receive the response also in form of electrical signals from neurons. So that's the interface, and the way we know for sure that the way how neurons are processing information is totally different than in digital computers. We know that neurons, they process information in time and space in form of spikes. So it matters when and in which place physically in the brain or on the organoid in the lab the neurons are active.
Super cool. So, but still, is there a piece of software which controls it, or it's in progress? How you define it?
Oh yes, definitely. Everything is controlled at the moment in the lab automatically. So basically, in our lab in FinalSpark, you do experiments by writing Python code. So this is very engineering approach. So these electrodes, they are all connected to digital system. So we can code and then experiments are executed automatically.
Cool. So can I give a parallel like you are like training it like a pet, rather program it, code it, or no? Is my idea right or wrong?
I don't know what you mean.
It's a living neuron. So I want
Yes.
to understand how you are training it. Your approach is to train a living material, or you still in your lab, in your technology, you still considering it as a something like a, I don't know, a CPU.
And no, of course, you have to consider that you have living tissue because they behave differently than digital.
Super, super. Okay. So another question following this one. So we are talking about living tissue. So are they actually getting tired or not?
Yes, actually, yes. Living tissue can get kind of tired. That means that every living cells, even if they are living cells, they have some kind of limits. We don't know yet exactly how it works. But yes, neurons can get tired. Or for example, if you send them too much electricity, then you can kill them. So they have a lot of limits. So when you interact with living neurons, although you do this in programming language Python, you still have to consider a lot biology and then biological aspects. That's why this project is so difficult, because to work on biocomputing today, you need to understand both biology and programming. So that's a bit of challenge. There are not many people who are so interdisciplinary.
Super, super. This sounds just amazing. And next question, maybe reasonable one. So, what's the ethical side of this killing or a possibility of killing living tissue?
Oh, well, that doesn't matter. You know, it's like you are scratching your skin, your cells are also dying. Or when you lose your hair, you also have living neurons, or not neurons, but let's say living cells dying. So I would say that really doesn't matter. Cells in our bodies, they die all the time and they are refreshing. It's more about killing a human. Maybe it's a bad problem. It's a big problem, but just individual cells is not really.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
happens all the time in the labs and also in our bodies.
Another one, we are getting to a hard point. So as you scale, FinalSpark will have more capability to understand, is there a consciousness inside this living tissue or not? What's your approach as a team, as an inventors to this thing?
So we are scientists and engineers, so we cannot really say too much about consciousness. But we put a lot of effort to reach out to philosophers, and we hope they will work on that problem. It's a very new problem, and for the moment, it really doesn't matter because the processors we have are very small. It's like 10,000 neurons. But in the future, once we can run the more advanced algorithm on our living neurons, then we hope philosophers can answer us or help us to answer these questions.
Sounds just great. Sounds just great. This is super cool. So, and if I may know, so
Mhm.
how difficult is, and actually how fast is to build a one workable piece of software, maybe using your technology. Like imagine you just want to build a simple calculator, as we all have in our mobile phones or computers everywhere. So if you can give a comparison, how difficult would be to build it, to deploy it, to test it, like everything?
Well, this is too early to say because so far we managed to store one bit of information, so we cannot really build calculators. So it's just not possible today.
All right. So do you have any estimation or maybe your personal view on this approach? Like how and then?
No, I think we cannot say that. It's too early. But you can consider maybe the timeline, how much time it takes to produce neurons. It can take a few months. But you know, on the other hand, we can also have these neurons stored, so they might be ready to use. So yeah, it's very difficult to say, I think. And it's also not so much about building calculators, because we actually aim to build a bioserver, which will be huge biocomputer, which will be available remotely the same way as today you connect to cloud computing. Tomorrow you will be able to connect to a bioserver for much cheaper computing. So it will be a little bit different
I see.
idea.
I got it. I got it. So you mentioned the server and the cloud computing. But what if we want to have something in our homes? Is it actually possible to replicate in a smaller scale?
Yes, theoretically, yes. Our competitors have this idea. They actually launched a little prototype with living neurons inside. However, it's difficult to have it at home because you still need a lab to culture living neurons. And if they die, you have to replace them. So it's not something you can really do at home.
Yeah, great.
But you can do in your lab if you have one.
All right, I see. This is cool. This is great. Next question. How do you see FinalSpark progress in the next 5 years?
So we hope to build computers in 10 years, actually. It's a bit longer. And for the next 2-3 years, we have a milestone, which is learning in vitro. We are also talking to investors, about 50 million Swiss francs of investment for this revolutionary technology. Of course, it needs time and money to build. And we are hoping that in 2-3 years after investment, we can achieve learning in vitro. So that means that neurons will be able to perform some simple algorithm. Then later, for the next around 3 years, we will work on advanced algorithm, which means we would like to match the performance of digital computers. And after that, another around 3 years is scaling. Maybe 3, maybe 4 years. And scaling will also be very difficult because we have to figure out how to build a huge structures of neurons and how to make sure that all neurons are alive. Because today, when you have, in your brain, you have vessels which are pumping blood, which is supplying nutrients, oxygen, everything what living cell needs for survival. But in the lab, we don't have yet a good solution for that. It's still under the development.
Great. Very interesting. Just curious. So, can you name a couple of industries of this modern world which are really interested in your technology and from where the demand is coming?
So this is very diverse. At the moment, it's difficult to say just one direction. I can tell you in general, our laboratory is available remotely. So you can write experiments in just writing code in Python, so you can do this also somewhere else. It doesn't have to be in our lab. So we have invited universities from all over the world to work with us in our lab. They submit projects. We have selected from 34 universities. We selected 9 with the most promising projects. Some of them were successful, other not. And so this is one thing. Of course, scientists are interested. And then we also get industry clients. So people start to reach out to us if they can rent our lab. And today we have 2 types of subscription. And we have people from small companies. We have also large companies, R&D teams, who are interested to explore cutting edge technologies. And we also have individuals. So, this is very diverse today. We still try to understand what is the characteristic of our client currently. For the lab, of course, because today we cannot provide biocomputer. We can only provide a platform where you can experiment with living neurons, how they process information, but you cannot really do biocomputing. You cannot process data. You can experiment only with neurons. So that you can send them electrical signals and you can measure the response and you can try to do some data science. That's what you can do today.
Super cool. So, another one. So, neuro interfaces are the next big thing, which is making a lot of buzz. How FinalSpark is aligned with this technology, or maybe you are experimenting already with that field of science?
No, it's totally different field. However, it's somehow connected because we try to teach interact with neurons in vitro in the dish. So once we learn, this could be used also for brain interface, brain-computer interface. But that's absolutely not our objective. But companies such as Neuralink, for example, they could use our knowledge to work on the human brain. Because, for example, when you can train neurons in vitro, what does it mean? You can retain some information inside neurons. So maybe tomorrow, when the algorithm will be really advanced, maybe we will know how to encode another language in our heads. So we will know how to program living neurons. If we know how to do this in vitro on the dish, maybe we will also be able to do this in vivo on the brain, although this is not objective of FinalSpark, but maybe we can help those companies one day. But this is really far future for the moment.
Great. Thank you, Ewelina. Next one. So I was reading the company profile of FinalSpark, and I've noticed that it started operation in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So what is that wow moment for your company? What happened which you consider the breakthrough moment through all these years?
So actually, FinalSpark was founded in 2014 with the dream of building thinking machine. It was founded by Fred Jordan and Martin Kutter. These are two Swiss entrepreneurs. They have already another company which is successful. That's why they have money to fund FinalSpark. For the moment, FinalSpark is only self-funded by the founders. And they initially, of course, they worked with digital AI. That's more obvious. But they realized it costs too much money. If you want to make a great AI, you need just more money for the servers. And indeed, you can see this today with the success of ChatGPT, which in big part is because there was huge money for training. So for servers, for energy to run this. So they realized that they have to figure out something more innovative if they want to make a difference as a small startup with the limited resources. So they started, they thought, okay, maybe Living Neurons. Our first employee, Jean-Marc, he had already some experience with working with Living Neurons. Although he's physicist, he's engineer, but he had a chance to work with Professor Markram, who is very famous neuroscientist in Switzerland. So, they thought, okay, it's maybe a good starting point. Let's try with Living Neurons. And this is how it started. So, I think in deep research, there is no wow moment. It's a lot of slow movement in research. It's not really like, it's difficult to have this eureka. Maybe sometimes when you have good idea, you can have a wow moment, but in the lab, usually you have slow changes. Of course, there are a lot of things which change our work a lot. For example, the advent of LLMs, large language models. So today our R&D looks totally different. And actually not only R&D, I think many aspects of our work look different because of the automation, which is so efficient. So we also can perform experiments in an automated way. So we can use LLMs to do automatic experiments in our lab. So yeah, I think a lot of things changed, but I wouldn't say this is such a I wouldn't call it such a wow moment like we imagine that, that there is some kind of a revolution.
I got it. Cool. That's great, Ewelina. I learned so much interesting information from this session. It was super cool. Maybe you have a couple of questions or you want to share more or share some surprising news from FinalSpark, like what's the next step which can surprise the audience, your future clients, or anyone in the audience.
I think in the deep tech reliability is really important. So I think we hope we will not be surprised for our clients, that we will be reliable always. And what I can say is if someone is interested in biocomputing, I highly recommend to check our website, finalspark.com, with a lot of resources. Also, you can send us a message. We answer every email. And if you want to know more, you always can ask questions. And we send some reading materials. So if someone is really interested in this new field, we try to provide, there are a lot of resources to get an idea of what is biocomputing on very technical level, but we also have some blog articles which are not so technical. So we have something for everyone.
Cool. Just one tiny question. So how and why you choose Python as the interface programming language? Is there a specific case or?
Well, it's just a very common programming language for science. A lot of R&D projects are in Python, and you have a lot of libraries, and it's just easy to work. And our engineers, they are used to that, because in many cases it's easy to work with Python if you do research, if you do scientific research, or if you do machine learning, because we also do a lot of machine learning in silicon.
Okay.
So that's a good choice.
Okay, great. So, all right, what would you recommend to a student, bioscientist students who are interested in this topic? Because we have a lot of audience, and maybe some of them are students. So, what is one piece of advice maybe for them how to start their next research? Yeah.
So as mentioned before, checking our website if someone is interested in biocomputing, no matter if it's a student or whoever, we have resources for anyone, for engineers, for scientists, also for general public. So I think the best idea is to check our website and also to send us a message. That's a great idea.
Super cool. That's great. Yeah, sure. I will put the link in the description to our website so everyone can navigate and learn more about FinalSpark and what you are currently doing. Dr. Ewelina Kurtys was with me today. Thank you so much
Thank you
for
too.
joining me. Cheers. See you next time.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
And that is our time. Thank you for exploring the future of computing with us.
Yes, thank you. And remember to subscribe for more.